All right guys, welcome to the channel. In this video, we're gonna be talking about how we can find the right bowling ball for you. Now, Kyle's gonna be warming up while we go over this. He's gonna be our little test dummy here.
Hey, look at that.
And let's throw a couple shots, Kyle.
Let me get the old body loose.
Now, we get a lot of questions on, how do you know what bowling ball to drill? What kind of bowling ball should you use in your arsenal? What kind of shapes are you looking for? How do we know what's correct and what's not? And we're gonna get into all of that with our friend Kyle here. Ooh. Now, Kyle, you just drilled a bunch of bowling balls, right?
Yes. So drilled 4 bowling balls, and we thought it'd be a great idea to kind of like break down why I drilled them, and then when we take them to the lanes, what we're looking for exactly. So the bowling balls themselves, we'll go through them, but it's not about the balls, it's about this whole process of picking the right bowling ball for you. So the first one we drilled was an XL. Drilled this ball pin down. This is a 4.5 inch pin to pat for me, pretty strong. The other ball I drilled was a phase 2, another pin down ball. This is about 4 3/4 pin to pat for me, so still like pretty strong. Next ball is a Harsh Reality Pearl. Drilled this one pin in the middle finger. So again, another pin down ball. And then we drilled a Zen 25 pin up. This is about a 5 1/4 inch pin for me. It's the furthest pin to pat. So yeah.
Now the furthest pin to pat meaning kind of the weakest, right?
Yeah, so definitely the closer we get there, once we start going into like your 5 1/2 inch pin to paps, that's when the ball's, becoming a little weaker responsive. So
which one are you gonna try first?
So this is kind of what I'll do. When I have 4 balls like this, we put out a 41 foot.
Yep.
41 foot sport shot pattern, and I'm gonna start with my strongest ball. So this XL, we're gonna go with this. Again, I drilled the pin down, and the reason I drilled this ball pin down and a little stronger pin was really to see if I could still have a strong cover, but reduce the flare and kind of see if I could keep it in front of me a little better. So yeah, so we're gonna just start warming up, throw some shots with the XL here, and start talking about the reaction. See what we see. Okay, so initial reaction there on that shot is, it was pretty smooth. I would say, like, as far as it's not over flaring in the front and bouncing down lane, it's pretty smooth down lane. Now, I'm looking at these flare lines, and I'm still getting this ball to flare.
No, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not too bad, a decent amount. And the whole idea for these, when we're drilling bowling balls, is I try to drill balls for most of the time a specific reason. Like, I want it to do something. It doesn't always happen like that, but I generally want to do something. So this ball, I'm gonna throw it early on in the practice session here, because I'm gonna be using this XL on the fresh. I'm gonna be using it when there's a lot of oil on the lane. And particularly, I wanna use it when I kinda have to go a touch straighter and there's oil on the lane. So let's try another shot. I'm standing on 21, looking at about 12, 13. Missed in on that one.
And now we've started with the strongest ball, basically. That's kind of the order we like to go in, typically, because on fresh patterns, we'll throw the stronger stuff. It's earlier, a little bit more controlled. And so that's kind of the way we do it, is we start out with the strongest one, and then we like to see what that one does before we really try to figure out, okay, what's the weaker, the cleaner covers, that stuff does.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna use the balls that have more surface on it, because the other balls that are shiny, they're also just not gonna look great right now. I might be able to get them to the pocket, but they're gonna be a lot more applicable once I have some built-in friction. Sure. A little bit. So that's why hopefully we build in a little friction with these balls, and then we go to our shinier ones, and then we kind of see how they're all reacting. So I've been a big fan of this XL in general, because it's a bigger ball that has a little cleaner cover, so still get some good motion down lane.
Ooh, that was very nice.
Yeah, so in that ball in general, I drilled it was like 4 1/4 from my pap, I think is what it was. So that's a really strong pin for me. So ideally, that ball is gonna wanna get started much sooner than,
the
than a lot of
sooner
my other
it gets
stuff.
started, meaning the sooner it's gonna try and hook. But oftentimes, the sooner it hooks, the less it hooks down the lane,
right?
Giving us like some control.
Yeah, so I'm looking for control in what we would call that front part of the lane. That's why the whole reason why I wanted to drill a little stronger pin, so I have something I know it's gonna react. When there's a lot of friction in the front part of the lane, this ball is not gonna look very good.
Now that's the 2 shots ago, the one that went high.
Yeah.
Was that a you thing? Was that a ball being too strong?
That was me.
Did
that was like a
alarm anything?
That was a miss left for me. That
Okay.
just told me, like, since I don't exactly know where to play on this, I was a little too like direct. And then that last shot, I just moved left and opened my angle up a little bit. This just told me that this ball is like hooking too early to be that direct. Yeah. So we'll try to get one more good shot in here. So yeah, I moved to left a little bit from where I started. I moved to 2-1, so now I'm just looking at 14 at the arrows, trying to play like, I don't know, 14 to 6 or so. Okay, so that's actually like not bad. I didn't throw that one great, but I'm looking for the ball to be controlled.
Yeah.
And the fact that it flat 10 there wasn't necessarily like I don't think it was a bad thing at all.
We would, in a lot of scenarios, we would rather see that flat 10. At least you're getting to the hole, rather than these banana shapes that are hard to control.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, if I was bowling on this pattern, maybe the XL, maybe not. Like I'm not in love with it by any means. So as far as like picking the right ball to throw, if this was like a practice session, I would be definitely trying some other options, because that might be, since I drilled this ball to be early, especially for me, it might be too early.
Yeah, and it's also asymmetric, which the ball you have now is a symmetric ball. In general, the symmetric ball in the past 5 years, it's just a little smoother. So a couple of the shots kind of rolled out on you, and then one kind of took off. It's pretty strong in the mid lane.
Yeah.
And it kind of wants to change directions. It's probably the asymmetry in the ball. It's kind of the point of the asymmetry. But this one is still pretty strong, except symmetric. So just the angle that it provides is going to not be as sharp. It's going to be smoother.
Yeah, this is the phase 2. Pretty similar layout to the XL, but it's a little further away from my pap. And I actually typically don't drill a lot of pin down balls. But
Yeah,
one
no,
thing,
this is
really? Yeah. So because of this last tour season, and me and Brad kind of both were having this issue, is we feel like our blown balls were over flaring a lot. Throwing these pin-up layouts, and then the balls, since they're over flaring in the front part of the lane, they just had no energy down lane. You mean we had that in a lot of the centers we went to.
Yep.
So now I'm testing out some pin down stuff. I think it's important when you're trying to pick blown balls for you, is that having a general understanding of kind of what layouts do, and not being afraid to maybe test some new ones. Like, there's been plenty of times where I've had layouts where I'm like, all right, I'm just slapping this on and everything's great.
Mm-hmm.
But then when things go awry, it's, sometimes you got to change some things. And a layout overall is a pretty easy thing to change compared to changing your release or speed or anything. So we're going to test this phase 2, and it's probably a good idea to test it off the XL. So because of that, I'm just not going to move. I'm going to try to execute the same shot, just put a different ball in my hands and just get a reaction of what this one's going to do.
Ooh.
That was pretty good off my hand, I thought.
That was pretty good. It was a little aggressive. You got a handful.
I caught that one.
For sure.
That one felt good.
I was gonna say, if it rolled out, I'm like, that's the ball right there. Like, you don't need any other ball.
I thought this was gonna be a little cleaner. I thought it was gonna get to the pocket, but if I look here, my flare lines are really, really tight, and this is exactly what I was looking for. Because these tighter, I'm trying to understand if I get these flare rings to be like a little tighter and not be so wide and across the ball, does that give me a little extra, float and retain and start carrying better?
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. However, when you're bowling on maybe fresher surf, there's no absolutes in bowling, but at times this can maybe retain too much energy.
Yeah, and when you drill a bowling ball too strong, this takes some trial and error, sure, but when you drill a bowling ball too strong like we thought we've been doing the past couple of years, it's gonna roll out. It's gonna feel lazy, it's gonna use all its energy in the front part of the lane, and then you just don't have a whole lot of oomph in the back part of the lane. That ball had a lot of oomph in the back part of the lane. That thing took off. So, and you saw that the flare rings are much tighter. So we just, something to pay attention to.
Yeah, so obviously just the first shot with that ball. We're gonna move a couple more left. This ball does have, comes pretty gritty out of the box. So, all right, we're gonna move 2-1. Our angle's gonna be pretty open here. Dang, that was nice.
Yeah, and that's kind of the part of bowling is a lot of trial and error. If you can get a bowling ball off the rack for cheap, for 20 bucks from your friend and drill it, it's nice to try some drills. But we have almost identical drills between the first ball you threw in the XL and the phase 2, and we have 2 different reactions. This ball was much stronger in the mid lane, and it gave either a hook stop or a rollout, and then that one's giving him quite a bit of shape down lane, and they're really kind of the same drills.
Yeah,
And
very similar.
We like that. You know, you don't have to do anything crazy with your drill in order to get two different reactions.
Yeah, I'm seeing that one, and I'm getting that more hook stop, which is what I wanted this one designed to do, closer to my pap, get it to hook early and kind of lose its energy down lane. And this one is further away from my pap, and it's symmetrical, so it's just gonna store a little bit better.
Yep.
So I'm gonna throw one more at this one, because based off that shot, like the XL, I felt like I was kind of in a spot where I didn't need to move a whole lot further left. This ball, I feel like I can kind of keep going a little bit. So we're gonna go, I'm actually gonna move it 2 and 2, because I feel like my angle is getting a little too open.
Ooh, wow. That looks nice.
That is exactly what you want to see
nice.
Right there, baby. That's gonna be the 750 Nationals ball right there.
Yeah, that makes us not want to try these other cleaner covers, you know?
Yeah, so as far as picking the right ball in this pattern and what I would do, if I was throwing both of those, the Phase 2 is definitely the one I would be throwing, because I feel like so far with this fresh cover, I can't really miss I can't miss right. Like it's gonna pick up every time.
It's gonna give you some shape.
As long as I execute it. So let's move on to another ball here.
Well, back to the asymmetry. The core is along the lines of the XL core, asymmetric, fairly strong. But I don't know if you could tell by the shine that's coming off of this ball, but is a pearlized cover. The cover on it is meant to slide in the first 20 or so feet a lot more than these other two, which would in turn give us more shape. However, the core is strong and meant to roll, so it's a nice blend. It's a strong core with a clean cover, so there should be a nice blend.
Yeah, this is a little older release from, you know, the Storm family, but watching Chris Prather and Andrew Anderson this year throw this ball, and then kind of looking how they laid it out, I was like, all right, I gotta give this one a go. I haven't thrown it in a while. So this is a ball I really don't have any idea, but I drilled it pretty much pinned down again. It's pinned in my middle finger, still about 4 3/4 away from my pap. So not too strong, but not too weak either. And honestly, I don't really know what this ball is gonna do. So this is a little bit of a test ball for me, I would classify it as. Just again, trying things. What happens, because normally a ball like this, I'm drilling it pin up, pretty tall pin. So what happens when I drill it pin down?
Yeah, okay. That's kind of what I was expecting, because the core's pretty strong, so it's going to give you that rollout that it just did.
Yeah.
But the cover makes it want to get down lane
clean,
and then also roll out, so it could be definitely different.
Yeah, it's probably a little touch early to be throwing this ball. I would like to get, you know, another couple games just to get some wear and tear on the lane, but I guess we can try it again.
Try it again.
So off that shot, it's a little clean. I'm just gonna try to maybe throw a little better shot as far as, I'm just not gonna open it up as much. That's what I'll try to do here.
Okay. So that kind of shows us the difference in cover right there.
Right.
I mean, a little bit of core too, but also
mainly cover.
Mainly cover. I mean, when we see a lower flaring, kind of weaker layout, strong rolly cover with a symmetric ball, hold line really well, well then an asymmetric core with a cleaner cover, you know, is probably the complete opposite of the spectrum. So the fact that this looked really good pretty much immediately tells us that we don't necessarily want to be throwing this ball right now. We're going to wait until some transition happens in the pattern.
Yeah, I think that was a perfect, if you're watching these shots and you watched what this ball did compared to what this ball did, it's a perfect understanding of playing the lanes like front to back.
Yeah.
Like this ball is not seeing the lane early enough, and is, you know, one shot I miss right and it completely goes past it. All I do is move my break point in a little bit and it goes too far left through the face. Where this ball, I had a little leeway either way. And that's, I mean, if you learn anything from this video, it's to control that front to back. We see so many people go to like nationals and sports shot tournaments where they're like, man, I miss right and it's out the window and I miss in and it goes through the face. Like, how many times have you heard that? How many times have you been in that situation? Yeah, I mean, and a lot of times that's just because our ball isn't reading early enough.
And how important it is, watching Kyle throw this ball, I'm like, ooh, I don't want to bowl that guy. But watching Kyle throw that ball,
yeah,
he's much more beatable. So the ball that you throw really determines how good of a bowler you're going to be. I mean, it's very important.
Absolutely. So how am I going to strike with this one? I'm going to throw a strike before we hang it up. I guess I'm going to have to just move left. We're just going to move left and attempt to play, you know, a little more down lane motion than I really want to and get this ball to Just hook into the pocket, I guess. Yeah, that's just, it's so sharp.
Yep.
And, you know, in order for that ball to look better, I'm gonna need some early friction to get that ball to start dying out a little bit.
Yeah, and once a bunch of people bowl on the pair or the pattern or whatever, and it starts to develop, there's some hook that happens in the fronts, there's not as much skid. This kind of cover is gonna roll and start to roll out before it gets too far down the lane. So right now we're looking for some breakdown, just some built-in friction, so this can be controllable.
Yeah, and again, this is this layout for me. It's not flaring a whole lot, so it's not trying to lose a whole lot of energy in the front part of the lane, so it's conserving a lot. So now I have this Zen 25. We're gonna throw this ball. Another shiny ball, but you can tell this layout is completely different than the other ones. This is a pinup layout for me. It's about 5 1/4 away from my pap. It's really close to my VAL up top. Basically what happens is, for me, when I put a layout like this, I can get it to respond to the friction. And a lot of times what I'm trying to do, I like having this option on a weaker symmetrical ball, because when I get left and trying to really open up my angles, and when I get it to the dry, I need it to pick up.
Yeah.
And that's what this ball is designed to do. Again, it's probably not gonna look great for this. I could see it just being a little sideways or getting behind the head pin to maybe flat 10 or something like that. But we'll see what it does off that one.
And respond to the friction, like we just want it to make shape down lane. Sometimes balls will hit the hook and the friction and they just roll out. The tall pin, cleaner cover, by responding to the friction, we're looking for shape once we get in and create some angle. But I actually think this is gonna roll good. Based on this this one being a little strong.
Yeah, okay. This lane 12, all right. I'm gonna not be quite as far left and see if it looks okay. And then if we gotta move a little bit further left, we can do that. Been working on my first step here. I'm trying to keep that dialed in.
So still pretty sharp.
Yeah, pretty sharp, and a lot of shape right there.
A lot of shape.
So then that's what I wanted to see. When I put that layout on a bowling ball, I'm looking for that shape. That's one of the layouts that, the other ones I'm doing right now are a little more testing. I don't throw those layouts all the time, but this one in particularly is, I put this on a lot of bowling balls. And you know, ideally you really only want, like, I'm pretty much a believer you should only have like 2 or 3 money layouts that you put on all your stuff and have a really good idea of what those do. And they may be different. Like, a lot of guys like to put a certain layout on asim bowling balls as opposed to their symmetrical balls. But trying to have 8 different layouts is tough. So I'm really right now, especially with these balls, trying to dial in, you know, a couple more layouts I really like. So we're gonna have to move a couple more left off that, but the ball did initially what we wanted to, which was create shape. So I'm gonna move left. Now I'm looking at like 19 at the arrows, see what happens.
Ah, there we go.
Whip that one out there.
That's another case of we're kind of waiting for the pattern to break down a little bit for that specific ball. This is a fresh. We just haven't bowled a whole lot. So these cleaner covers we're kind of seeing are just not giving us enough mid lane.
Yeah, and again, we're not reading that front to back well enough, but we'll try one more shot here with this one, because I felt like I threw that one okay. Just not quite the right place to play. It's just when you have this uncontrollable reaction down lane, it's hard. I feel like I have to like fit a gap of perfectly getting this ball to get into the pocket. We're gonna try to roll this one a little bit more. I missed in. Yeah, that one feels hard to just control right now. But I'm getting a lot of shape down lane, and that's really what I'm looking for out of this.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily like that's a bad thing. That's just telling you what to do and what to not to do. You know, we're all just collecting information. It doesn't make the ball bad or anything. We're just collecting information.
Absolutely.
And we tried 2 symmetric balls, 2 asim balls, 2 solid covers basically, and 2 pearlized covers. And it's trial and error. That's how we're figuring out. Even the best in the world, we have to try different things in order, because bowling's different. They change, you know, it's
in 3 games, these balls are probably gonna flip-flop. Those 2 are gonna start looking better, where these 2 are gonna be.
The second that one starts rolling out, we're going to cleaner covers.
So, I can't remember where I stood. We're gonna end this with hopefully throwing another strike with the phase 2. And remove our feet right a little bit. Just go up and approach. I'm gonna look at 16 at the arrows, see what happens. Yeah, I like that shape so much better than everything else. It's bleeding, it's giving me enough continuation, but also giving me a little bit of control. And at the end of the day, that's really all we're looking for. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video on how to pick the right ball from you, and hopefully picked up something to where you can either, drill the right ball, pick the right ball to throw, or just pick the right ball to buy off the rack.
Yeah, and hey, listen, it's bowling. The learning experience is ever changing, so just to not break the bank, if you can buy some cheaper bowling balls, we love to trial and error some things to really help us decide, is this the right ball or is this the right ball? We've been doing it forever. So anyway, guys, appreciate you watching. There is a free gift available for you. It's a free video. Hit that link in the description. It's from our Master of Lane series. We absolutely love it. We'll see you guys later. Hit that like and subscribe.
Appreciate it.